Hi there. Welcome to the Contemplate Show. In this show, we try to answer life's trickiest questions in the best way possible. We educate, encourage, and inspire individuals to achieve their goals. On today's episode, we have Dr. Vicky Omifolaji. She's the founder of Indiapreneur and a managing director of DK Partners, and also a managing director of V Consulting. She's an established entrepreneur, and she has so much to offer in terms of knowledge, skill, business, you can name it all. Please, without much further ado, I'd like to introduce to you Dr. Vicky Omifolaji.
Hello, Enoch. Thank you so much for having me on your show. And how are you all doing, viewers?
Thank you so much. On this episode, we're talking about a very interesting topic. It's about self-doubt and how it can cripple you. So we want you to just start from the very beginning. Self-doubt. Where does it come from?
What an important topic. How important it is to individuals. It starts with voices that we listen to. From our parents, from friends, from teachers, from people around us, especially those important people, those authority figures in our lives. That's where this self-doubt tends to creep in. So it starts from when we are little. The kind of words, the kinds of the way people present stuff to us, the voices, those voices, they can make and they can break. So self-doubt tends to stem from that.
Does it come from what you hear, or does it come from within? How does it take effect on people?
It comes from what you hear. It goes in and it starts messing you up without you even noticing it. Alright, I'll give you an example, or I'll tell you a true life story of a man that came to see me at the age of 48. When he came with different things that had happened to him, and he was going through a phase at that time. This man, being a successful businessman, at every point of his life, when things are going well for him, he tends to do something to jeopardize it. He tends to just it would do something. So right there and then, when he came to see me, it was just him wanting to separate from his wife. No fight, no nothing. He just said to the wife one day, he doesn't want her anymore. And the wife was like, something is not quite well with you. You need to see somebody. So he came to see me and we just started talking. And as we were talking, I got into a point whereby I asked him certain questions about his younger years. Because I tend to do what I call lifeline with my clients, which means from zero birth to the age that they are in. Now, that lifeline means, let's talk about, I want you to think and go back to significant moments of your life. At age 4, this happened. At age 10, this happened. At age 15, that happened. Things like that. And this guy, fortunately, at that session, he remembered that when he was 4 years old, he was at his grandma and grandpa's house. And he held a mug, his grandma's favorite coffee mug. And it slipped and it broke, it shattered. Grandma was so dear to him, but for grandma to open her mouth because she was really angry at him. Oh, you this stupid, you never amount to anything. How can you be so, she was just going on and swearing at this young man. The words that stuck to this young man at that stage was, he was stupid, clumsy, he would never amount to anything. at age 48, he was still battling with those words. Now, at age 48, he had a good business. He was making a lot of money, but the words, it would never amount to anything, was against what is happening to him. So, unknowingly to him, he was always doing something to jeopardize what he had. So it was at this point again that he came to see me, and we were able to connect the dot. Grandma that he was looking up to said, verbalized those words, those hurtful words that this man internalized. And even though he was doing okay, but he was always like on edge that this is not real. According to my grandmother, I wasn't supposed to be doing well. Because he held grandma in high esteem.
I want to push back on that. Why must it be taken full on? Can't it not just be you are reprimanded? Someone dear to you was upset with you and said things in annoyance. Why can't it not be left there? Why is it taken all the way and being internalized?
Remember, it was only 4 years old. 4 years old. Grandma passed away 2 years after that, when he was 6 years old. But the hurt those words created in his life was long-lasting. 4 years old. Many that their teachers told they would never be able to achieve anything in life. Many got stuck onto that, and they couldn't make anything work for themselves because of what the teacher said. For those who beat that, it was a lot of work. If you ask them, a lot of work, a lot of battle, a lot of counseling, a lot of therapy that got them through to be able to get to the other side and amount to something. But some people, they just don't have they are not able to look within. If that man didn't come to see me, he would never be able to connect how his life is to whatever happened at the age of 4.
44 years later.
Yes. So when we ask people that we all need to talk to professionals from time to time, there are things that in our past could have happened that may still be in our lives, kind of impacting us in a negative way. That we may not even know that what we are doing, how we are doing things, was because of what somebody said, of the way somebody looked at us, of the way this human mind, my goodness, if you can compare our mind to CPU, CPU in the computer, that is the way our mind is. It's quite complex, very much complex, that if you're not the type that is able to look into things and actually break it down and try and work out things, you just be finding yourself on the same spot and going around in circles. And if you look at the story of that man, honestly, it's been how many years that I saw him as a client. He still catches up with me from time to time. Just, Vicky, I'm doing okay. My life is doing okay. I just wanted to let you know. It's been 7 years that I saw him. But knowing that the way I have been was because of that, actually set him free. So we're talking about self-doubt today. It's within. And it now depends on what had been deposited in that person's life as from younger age. And remember this, hurt people hurt. Hurt people hurt. You do better when you know better. Grandma never ever expect that whatever she said could have been the downfall to the young man.
Yeah, because I'm wondering, because with the story, she tended to be so loving to him. So what happened with all the positive affirmation? So one negative now cancels all the...
Definitely, because it's easier. I mean, because you look around, it's negatives that you see on the TV, wherever you look. So the negative seems to be more up there than the positive. It takes a lot of power, a lot of inner strength to be able to tap more into the positive than the negative. So now, this woman who loved him so dearly, maybe at that point, God knows what she may have been going through herself at that time. Maybe she was going through some domestic violence in the hands of the grandpa. You never know. That the young boy breaking that mug was more like a trigger to her. You know, you never know. You never know the battle she was facing herself. But the young man mistakenly broke the mug. The woman got angry and she said things that, just came to her angrily. And this young man internalized it. 2 years later, the woman died. But of course, the young guy couldn't separate his life from those words that were said to him. So when I see parents, I do talk to them about whatever comes out of their mouth to those kids. Because I say, when you leave good things in them, it's even better than you leaving money and cars and houses for them. Those words can build, those words can destroy. So if you choose carefully, then you are watching out for those young people's future. So parents need to be mindful. Where I come from, the part of Nigeria that I come from, my town is called Ilesha. In Ilesha, parents they abuse. When I say abuse, not abuse as in physically abuse, but verbally they swear. Not like swear that you swear here, no FF or whatever. It's like, I don't even know how to say it, but they kind of swearing in the dialect. That some, like the gods will carry you away. And if I say it, you'll be scared. The way they will say it. And they say it in the morning, they say it in the evening. And the way my parents raised me, that was a no-no in our family. Absolutely no-no. Absolutely no-no. Because whatever you say, you are attracting to yourself. Whatever you say to your children, you are attracting that to their lives. So you need to be mindful of what comes comes out from your mouth, because it's powerful. It's powerful. So many people that are struggling today, or whatever they're struggling with, must have come. Majority of them comes from what had been deposited into their lives, which was what they got attracted to. And you see that in every aspect of their lives, they keep struggling. Because, yes.
Yeah, it's quite, I'm trying to just to really digest this concept. Is it the closer you are to someone, the more impacts the negative word will have, or it doesn't matter?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The teachers are not very close, but their words carries weight. Okay, even somebody passing by, they're not very close, but whatever they say, depending on how you are, those words can stick. This tongue, even we know what the Bible describes it as. All right, so that's why we need to be mindful. We need to be very careful, especially when we're dealing with our own children and other kids. Minds, not everybody can be strong. Not everybody can be, because for you to be positive and positive minded, it's a lot of work. It's not something that just happens, that I'm just trying to be positive. No, you must have heard from people that knows about the power of remaining and being positive. You must have read books. You must have listened to people, like Les Brown and many other motivational speakers, for you to be able to pick it up that, you know what, I want to be positive. I want to be positive no matter what I see, no matter what is happening around me. I want to be positive. I can't focus on whatever is going on, because if I do, I'm going to remain in the black hole. So for me to be positive, it is a lot of work, a lot of internal work, a lot of things that I have to do. Why do you think some people will write stuff on sticky notes to remind themselves of the fact that I'm not going to be sick? Let the rich say, let the poor say that I'm rich. You just have to write those things to remind you, because our minds tends to just lean towards being negative, because everywhere you look on the TV around you, they're quite negative. So it's easier to just lean towards being negative, but to be positive, it is a lot of work, a lot of drive. You wake up in the morning, you say those words, I'm going to be strong. Today is going to be a good day for me. And in cases like this, I use this man, his life story to sum it up. Muhammad Ali. You look at Muhammad Ali, he was 10 years old when he found boxing. How did he find boxing? There was a retired police officer that realized that the young men in that neighborhood, majority of them, they were lost. They had no male figure, father figure, because it's either their fathers had been sent to jail or killed due to gang wars, or they've been sent to jail. So those young boys, they're just moving aimlessly.
Energy, nothing to do.
Exactly, but nothing to use that energy on, because there's nobody to direct them and put them in order. So this man got a dilapidated industrial place and just built a boxing ring in there, and he asked the young boys to be coming there after school. That was how Muhammad Ali found boxing, and he fell in love. But from that 10-year-old, from that day onwards, he kept saying, I am. He never stopped saying, I am the greatest. What do you expect from somebody, a young 10-year-old, all right, continuously saying, I am the greatest. I am the greatest. He started with those words because only God knows who taught him. Maybe the trainer did. I don't know. I didn't get to that part of the story. But he started saying it because the battle, you win the battle in life first if you can win up here. And that was what he focused his energy on first before he even mastered boxing. I am the greatest. It was nothing when he started saying it. And he refused to look at whatever his situation was at that stage. All right. When the school bus comes to pick up the children in that neighborhood, Muhammad Ali will put his bag inside the bus and jog after the bus. 10 kilometers to go to school. He'll be at school, do his work. When the bus picks them up after school, he'll do the same thing. Leave his bag in the bus and jog after the school bus back home. And then he'll go for training. Alright? Then he started boxing with others. And while doing his boxing, I am the greatest. And then they'll beat him black and blue, swollen eyes, bloody nose. He refused to look at that and stop saying it. I am the greatest. I am, even on the floor when they're kicking him, I am the greatest. I might not be it right now, but I believe that I am the greatest. There is power in I am. No matter what the teacher may have said to him before that stage, no matter what other students may have said to him before that stage, the moment he realized that he can win by focusing on I am, and he make his action to fit in. Come on. Just a matter of time. What did he eventually become? The greatest. He got known all over the world because he won at 10 years old. I am the greatest. Same thing. If it had been negative that he focused on, okay, what will his life have been? What will this life have been? So, at the end of the day, as parents, what comes out of your mouth to those children matters a lot. It's like you're prophesying into their lives. Yes, they will make you angry. Oh, yes, they will do things and you just you just need to hold on. There are better ways of correcting them. There are better ways of making them to understand. All right? Many adults today were damaged a long time ago, and they still don't know. They don't understand the connection from their past to what's going on with them right now. Most people, it's like they have the garbage that they are just going around with since they were little, and they're going through life with those garbages because they can't let go of it. They don't know how these garbages is connected to whatever may have happened before. So, unless they intentionally take steps towards going to a professional that can sit with them and walk with them through this.
So that will lead to my next question, which is, why do we have to allow these words to come in? Can it be fended off? You maybe a boss or a teacher or someone says something. Why do people have to accept it? Can't it not be fended off?
Remember, when you are younger, that you don't know any different, you don't really know whatever. It's easy to absorb. Children, they are more like, sponges. It absorbs, you just put it in water and it just soaks in water. All right? As adults, for you to fend those kind of words off, you need to have been working on yourself. Okay?
So
you
what
need.
you're saying now is there is the source. What people are dealing with is not a new phenomenon. It's something that okay. Now that makes sense.
No. So you need to know that you need to understand what's going on. What this person is saying to me is not meant for me. I don't want it. And this is the way I tend to explain it to people. When you go to a restaurant and you order a meal, I'll use what I love to eat in restaurant. I love to eat risotto, okay? Chicken risotto, and I love to have bacon in it, right? So if I go to a restaurant and I make an order for my chicken risotto, creamy chicken risotto, and the waitress brings to me spaghetti, I will say, I'm sorry, I didn't order for spaghetti. Can I please have my risotto, right? It's the same thing. If somebody says something that doesn't belong to you, to your life, and you don't want it, just no, that's not for me. No, I'm not a failure. I am a winner. I am a winner.
Yeah.
All right.
To add to your point, don't forget that what you hold that thought. There are adults who are being given feedback on something and they feel demoralized, or maybe someone says something. They are full-blown adults. Their kid, when they were kids, everything was fine, was all affirmation. So in that scenario, how do you compare both?
There are some people that are probably depression, anxiety, and left untreated. All right. So with that, the mind isn't right. Little things just get soaked in, and it's like affirming their depression. Okay, so the person is depressed, hasn't been treated, and somebody is saying, "Oh, you're horrible." So it's like, yeah, even that person said I'm horrible. I know I'm really horrible. You know what I mean? So whatever that person is saying now is affirming how this person is feeling. All right. The person may have gone through life as a child, loving home, positive affirmation and all that. But remember, depression doesn't, there's no racism, there's no, it doesn't choose, doesn't discriminate. All right, it can happen to anybody, and it happens to people whether they are rich or poor, female or male, young or old. It happens to people. So when that happens, and somebody's now saying something, it's like, oh yeah, I know, it's on you. I already know. Now that you're saying it, yes, I know. All right, so they're not even able to rebuff it because they're already feeling that way. Okay, so if they now go for treatment, all right, whether medical treatment, going on medication, going for counseling, and trying to do CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, they're able to separate their thinking from their actions, which will bring more favorable way of living. But if they don't know and they are not keen to understand what's going on for them, and they are not seeking solution, they will remain like that, and it gets worse. It gets worse. That is why some will now move towards harming themselves, hurting themselves, because this thing, it's like by the time they get to the point of hurting themselves, it's like they feel like they want to burst. And sometimes you see them, when they hurt themselves, they cut themselves, they feel relieved from the pain. Yeah. So and there are many ways that they hurt themselves. All right. So, but knowing, actively going for help, sticking to receiving the help, because some, they start using medication, they feel better. I don't want to use medication, blah, blah, blah. Because they start feeling better, they stop the medication, and by the time it comes back, they're worse than before.
So what you're saying now is that there's a lot that has to do with the mind. And you've broken it again further to say there is the external and there's the internal.
Yeah.
Now, for the category of people who have, they are fine, they are probably very handsome or very beautiful, but there's a voice in them telling them they are not beautiful, they are not fine. So what do you say to those people who they can deal with the external, they can fend off all of those, and then each time they have a presentation or something, there's a voice telling them, what are you doing here? That voice is always, oh, you want to write this test, you failed. Things like that. So what do you have to say to those people?
What do I have to say to those people? And there are many of those people around our workplace. What I will say to them is to ask themselves the question, especially, and as you're saying that, I remembered a client of mine a few years back now, beautiful. When I say beautiful, extremely beautiful, elegant woman that belongs to a New York runway somewhere, modeling for Versace and all those designers. So beautiful, so delicate looking, and expensive looking from top to toe. A bag, a handbag, everything. Beautiful, classic looking woman. She walked into my office that day and she said something. And what she said was I was just like, come again? What are you saying? She said, I know that you think I'm ugly, and yes, I believe that I'm ugly. And I just had to say to her, please come again. What do you mean? Where is this coming from? What happened to you? I mean, everyone looking at you, every woman that is looking at you will want to be like you. So what is going on for you? We delved into her story also. We got to know, okay, through our sharing, through tears and all that. She was adopted. Her mother left her somewhere, and the state picked her up as a baby, and a couple adopted her and raised her. But as an adopted someone, that thing was still in her, that she was rejected. She couldn't overcome that feeling of being rejected by her own birth mother that she'd never known, and a father that she'd never known. So she was raised by somebody else. Lovingly. Those people gave her everything. She was their only child. But human being, like I said, our mind can be so delicate that it's something that we need to protect by doing inward work again and again. This woman had always had a feeling that she was rejected. She didn't learn to put things into perspective, that our parents, the people that chose her, the people that raised her, they chose her specially. They looked after her and they passed on their wealth to her. So she just focused on whatever happened even well before she was born, that she couldn't even remember.
She was not cognitive enough to remember.
Of course, as a baby, what can you remember? But she just couldn't. So it was a lot of work that we had to do to help her get to the point whereby she was able to accept and be grateful for the life that these people gave her. Good life, financially, emotionally, they were there for her. But by the time she came to see me, they've already passed. So just imagine, now she had to relieve that grief that she wasn't appreciative enough because she was so much focused and wrapped in that, oh, my parents rejected me.
On the story she was told.
Exactly.
She was not even old enough to witness it. She was told, and now she caged herself with and crippled her life with that.
Exactly. So that is saying to you that it doesn't matter whether you are beautiful or you are whatever, you're a male, you're a female. This mind, if you're not careful and you're not protective of it, by making sure you are actively doing whatever you can to be positive, it's easy to just lean towards being negative. And you don't need to look far to find those negative stuff that will keep you down.
Yeah, I mean, this is quite interesting because it looks like the title itself, crippled by doubt. It's like it cripples an individual irrespective of your walk of life or whatever status you have. Now, what will be your What will be your recommendation? Because I know you've talked about motivation, listening to things. I mean, obviously meeting professionals like yourself to kind of unravel, where it all began and look for strategies to mitigate those. What essentially is the main key that people should always lean onto when these words? So it's like you're fighting two battles now. There's the one people tell you, and there's the one you have within yourself as well. So for me, like I said, I like what you said. For me, when I get to any scenario, the first thing I just tell myself, you can do this. Forget about whatever. Just focus, you can do this. So that's what I hear. But you started touching on things, and it took me, time to really get to that by virtue of keep hearing positive things and surround yourself with positive people. And then that becomes your framework. So what would be your response to people who are saying, well, it's like they're fighting two battles. Is there any chance to win? I'm hearing my voice. I'm hearing people saying I'm not able, I'm not capable.
You've actually summarized it all. When you look at millionaires, for instance, millionaires, they don't like giving out their money. They don't. They have it, but actually they really don't like it. But if you want to be a millionaire and you're making friends with millionaires and you're expecting them to be parting ways with their money, giving you that money, it's not going to happen. Absolutely not. But if you want to be a millionaire, it's recommended that your first friend is to be a millionaire, second one, a millionaire, third one, a millionaire, fourth one, a millionaire, the fifth one, a millionaire. They are not going to give you money. So what is the point of being their friends? I will explain it. Being their friends, it means you have the first row seat to watch them do deals. You are at the front row seat to hear them talk about shares and how when I did this and how I did this. You get, if you are wise, you pick those things up and you use those things as your own template to become a millionaire. All right? Same thing with fixing and focusing on working on yourself. There are people that are like the way you want to be. They've already gone through whatever they may have gone through. I remember growing up, the day I turned on the TV and I saw Oprah Winfrey and a carriage on the screen with, an African woman on the TV with lots of Caucasians and everybody in the studio looking up to her, a woman of authority, I said to myself, I like that. I want to be like that. I don't know what else that she's like, but the fact that she represents what I want to be like in terms of my presence, okay, in terms of motivating people, in terms of inspiring people, in terms of the voice of authority, she's an ideal one that I follow. I've never seen Oprah, but I've listened to her severally. I've watched her severally. And it's the same thing. We have people around us. Unfortunately for us, there is YouTube all over now that we all can access. University of YouTube. That whatever you want to be, you only need to stop certain things that you're doing that doesn't add value to you and give that time to what will make you to be what God had created you to be, which is finding the kind of people that are already where you want to be. And then you learn from them and use whatever they have as your own template and see your life transform.
Yeah, because
the other thing, pardon?
No, go ahead. Because I mean, while we're talking, I've seen you all across small audience, large audience. The confidence is amazing, and sometimes I wonder, like, I've seen you, I've been with you, I've seen, but it's like there's a layer of things peeled. It's like I don't know you anymore. When the amount of confidence you have. So where do you get that from? And how can people get really confident, not to be crippled by this voice in them telling them that you mentioned identifying what they want to be. So that means they need to look for something to start working towards. And you know, so I want you to shed more light on that.
I'll say is one thing. I need to give the credit to my parents, especially my mother. Very tough, but she doesn't give me time to be in a box. When I say be in a box, it's easier to, especially here in Western world, so many people, they've been put in boxes. Some that they give diagnosis to, and that becomes their box, and they can't find themselves out of that box, okay? And that becomes their identity, that becomes how they describe themselves and how other people describe them. And they can't see themselves any other way. So my mother refused to allow me to be in a box. She refused to actually acknowledge that I may have some learning difficulties. She refused to see it. She pushed me beyond my limit, and she made me believe that no matter what I want, I can achieve, because other people that have one head like yours, Vicky, that have red blood running through their veins just like you, they've done it. So there's nothing stopping you from doing it. There's nothing stopping you from achieving it. And I say the same to my kids, and I change it in a way. I said to my kids, I'm not going to be begging anybody to come and sit on their table. I will create my table, and they will beg to come and sit on my table. And that will be wherever I go. And for me to not create that table, I can't create a table and be doing like this. I've got to create it with my head high, with my shoulder high, with my chest out. Now this table, you need to come and sit there, because we have better things on this table. That's how I'd say to my daughters and my son. And I watch them also, the way they carry themselves. So what I'm trying to say here is, all this goes back to parents. Okay? It goes back to parents. And I'll tell you one particular story that happened when I was around 13 years old. My mom and dad, my dad was an Anglican priest, an Anglican reverend. And in our church, he invited one man who was the president of the blind people in Nigeria at the time. The man was stickingly rich. So my father invited him to be a chairman of one event in our church at that stage. So after church, this man was invited home back to our house for lunch. So we brought the best of the best silver plates, glass, everything, the best of the best, and we set the table nicely. And this man had his meal. And when he and the other people finished, myself and the others, we went there to pack the plates. And then as I took stuff to the kitchen, I made a statement. My mother was there in the kitchen. She heard me. I said, so I was arranging myself on the chair in the kitchen. And I made a statement with the food in my front on the table. And I was like, now let me sit down and just enjoy the leftover of the rich man. My mother became so angry at me. What? She gave me a dirty slap to start with. I saw stars. And she said, what is wrong with you? I think I raised you better than that. Why are you happy just because you're going to be eating the leftover of another human being? Why would you be so happy wanting to eat somebody else's leftover? Yes, he was rich because he worked hard for his money. Did you know what she did that day? How that just stuck with me, that I'm not the type that will become second fiddle to anybody. Do you understand my point there?
Yeah.
Even though she was doing her job as a mother, that what's wrong with you? You're better than that. You're not it yet, but you will be it. But you need to remove that rubbish from your mind. You know, when she first did that, I rolled my eyes in my head without her saying it. This woman, she has started again. So I left the food and I angrily went to my room. I lay on my bed and I thought about what she did and what she said. And I'm like, you know what? I'm better than being contented eating somebody else's leftover. Rich man or no rich man, doesn't matter. Do you think you can be a rich girl? I said to myself, yes. Then work hard for it. See, she planted a seed. It wasn't because, of course, with that kind of slap, but that resetted my brain, okay? So that was the kind of training that I got. And I also read books. Lots of different people's biographies. I'm not a boxer. I hate people boxing. I hate seeing grown men in cages boxing each other for money. For me, it's not my kind of thing. But I just wanted to get to understand what made this man tick, Muhammad Ali. And I did a research into his history to get to find out, he won his battle when he was only 10 years old. Whatever we now saw years later was the outcome of the battle of the mind that he won at 10. The same thing with each and every one of us. And as parents, we need to do better, all right? Parents need to do better. They need to do better. Just because, let me just leave it there.
Yeah, okay, yeah. It's quite deep and it's quite interesting that you keep going back to the source. You keep going back to the source. You keep going back to the source. So I think the viewers are really getting a lot from this, because the way you've laid it out is like once you do the homekeeping, when you go outside, it'll be easy to fend off if somebody tells you, we're giving you this deal, why are you not accepting it? You remember your mom said something about, no, you can't settle for less. We'll take a little break and we'll come back on the Contemplate Show. This is episode 9 with Dr. Vicky. Don't go away. All right, we're back from the break and we've been talking to Dr. Vicky on this episode 9. Very interesting topic, crippled by self-doubt. Dr. Vicky, going further in our discussion, we'd like to know, how do successful people overcome self-doubt?
All right, successful people, they just don't wake up one morning and become successful. To be successful, there are lots of inner work that you have to do. That self-belief that I can achieve this, I can do this, I can blah, 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 which they can also use when it comes to self-doubt. So they start working on whatever they're working on, the business, meeting up with other people and doing the deal and blah, 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 and they become successful. Now, when they are now faced with doubt, that inner doubt, what would they do? They go within. If I can achieve this, I should be able to. I will be okay. I will achieve this. I will do this. I will be all right. You know what I mean? So, being successful, when we're talking about successful, we also need to understand that what success means to you may be different from what success means to me and to the next person. So in most cases, when I say we, us as human beings, we believe that somebody who is financially okay, who has cars and houses, they are successful. Some people, being successful means having a family, good family, home, a place that is safe. To them, that is success. So it now depends on what you're looking, what you mean by successful people in what we're talking about. What does that mean to you? What are you trying to get at? What kind of success are we talking about? So by the end of the day, in whatever success aspects that we're looking at, people that become successful, they don't just wake up to be successful. It's a journey of working on steps to get them to the point where they become successful. I hope my point is clear.
Yeah. So they hear these voices, but then they're like, no, that's fine. I'm able to do that. I've done this. I've done that. I'm able to. So that's the inner work you're referring to.
That's inner work. When you look at musicians or actors, musicians. Let's use examples of musicians. There is no time. Go and hear or go and read some of their biographies. Or you listen to them when they talk about, their processes and stuff. Every one of them, almost every one of them, getting on the stage to sing to thousands of people, they still have that, what if? And then they get to that stage and they grab the microphone and somebody else just appears from them, and you be like, so if you know their journey from before they get to the stage to getting on the stage and just, all right, I'm here to do this and I'm gonna wow these people, I'm gonna do it. The self-doubt creeps in, but what do? They had to do some lot of work to extinguish that fire that want to stop them from showcasing what they do. Actors, and I've used this in my practice for many, many years. Actors, so now if I have a script, all right, and I want Denzel Washington to play a role, what I'll do is, we've agreed on price and whatever, and I'll send him the script. He will read the script. He knows his part. But for many, many months before we even start rehearsing, he will read through his script. He will practice his part of script, his words, in front of the mirror. For many, many months, he was trying to get himself into that role. He was trying to get himself, like immersed into that role. Remember, he's an actor that played many, many roles. So I don't want him to come to the stage and forget about this current role and be acting
some other role.
Yeah, exactly. So he had to do a lot of work to know his words, number one, and to practice in front of his mirror, his stance, the way he looks, everything, so that everything will match. Many months in front of his mirror, many hours every single day to get himself prepared. And then we start rehearsing with other actors. Okay? Before we now start actually videoing the real one that we will now show to people. That's the way it is. So what they show to us in a movie for 1.5 months takes 1.5 hours, takes months. One scene can take over 40 takes. Again and again, because it just doesn't, no. You have to stand here. So when this person is walking across, that's when you say this. So if it's not matching, you just be doing it again and again and again. So it's the same thing with our lives. It's the same thing with us. We need to practice. And we need to, you can't say, I am strong, and then I am strong. You're saying it's not matching what is inside. So everything needs to match. What you see, the way you say it, how you say it, facial expression, body language. I can't say I'm going there to win and then I'm dragging. No. You've seen me that I'll be so tired, looking so tired, but I get to the stage to speak.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Gone. When I finish, then I can be, but when I have work to do, how can I say I'm inspiring people and I'm flat? It just doesn't work. So it's inner work, and it's not something you do once and you say, oh, it's done. It's continuous. It's, you just need to keep doing. You need to keep doing.
You've touched on a whole lot of things, and especially this last part where people really need the tools to implement for long term. Yeah, and you've really touched on that. Just before we let you go, and thank you for your time again, what are the books you would recommend to our viewers? And when we come back from that, we'll do your final words to just kind of seal the episode.
When I was about 14 years old, someone gave me a book titled The Power of Positive Thinking, written by Norman Vincent Peale. I read that book, and that was That was a great book for me. All right. And I've read many books since then, and I still read books. I read biographies because, like I said to you, you want to be great, you want to be successful, you want to be a millionaire, you want to be at peace, you want all that. For me, number one is my Bible because it touches on all this. Okay? Remember, even there's a space in the Bible, there's a chapter, a verse in the Bible that said something in line of He has given us the power to create wealth. So I want to be successful. All right. So where is that power coming from? And there's a verse there before that talked about you just follow the commandment, His commandment. All right. And many, many other things. There are many people in the Bible whose lives kind of showcase what we want or what we are driving at now. Now, there are people that have been before us. There are people that are still here. I've talked about Oprah Winfrey. There's another woman called Lisa Nichols. There is Les Brown. He's still well alive. I spoke to him a few years back now, and we talked for like an hour. This man, yes, he's got it. I mean, his words. How about this, the pastor that what's his name again, who passed away in with his wife?
Okay, Miles Monroe.
Miles Monroe. And many, many more. Many, many more. Their words enriches our lives. Create time to listen to them. We have so much distractions these days that's not funny. Distractions from TikTok, distractions from Facebook, from Instagrams, that when you're on them, honestly, before you know it, 4 or 5 hours are gone. So create time. We are in the car most of the time. Put it on. Listen to them. All right? You are at home cooking. Listen. Because those words, it's like you are soaking the words that will bring revival to your life. When I say revival in every aspect of your life. Why waste time on things that doesn't add value to you? The other thing that I do recommend is look within your friendship group. There are people that are not supposed to be there because they are so negative, because they just don't, they're not there to add value to you. They are there to take from you. It's good to give, but not at your own detriment. So look at your friendship group. People that don't build, they need to go. They need to go. So find people that speaks your language. Find people that blesses you. Spend more time with them. Know those that are what you are aspiring to be like. Check them out. Use them as your template. And do yours. Just add a bit of flavor into it and make it yours. And what else? So read books, get biography, and just enjoy life.
That's great. Thank you, Dr. Vicky, for really unpacking that topic, because we know a lot of people are struggling with this. We believe after hearing you, they've gotten some enlightenment, and they would, implement some of these nuggets that you've given. Thank you again for honoring this invitation. We've come to the end of the episode 9. Please, if you have any topic you would like us to treat, please put it in the comments section. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. That'll be all for me today. I'm remaining your host, Tina Kogi, and bye for now.
Bye.